I'm Felisa, and I spent a week in Buenos Aires and had the most amazing time. I went to some of the most delicious restaurants, unique cocktail bars, ate at so many bakeries, and explored what Buenos Aires had to offer. Fun fact, I was actually born here in Buenos Aires and haven't been back since, so I had to go extra hard this trip and explore as much as I could. Let's start with the amazing bakeries because Buenos Aires is known for its vibrant bakery scene. First up is Salvaje Bakery, and it looks like it's located out of a garage, which was very cool and laid back. The bakery is in Palermo Hollywood, which is where we're staying, and I'll show you our Airbnb later. Salvaje is famous for its giant buttery media lunas and sourdough bread and lots of cool artwork on its walls. You can see the kitchen in the back and everything looks so good and smelled delicious. There's a huge menu and we ordered a bunch of things to try and we loved everything. I love how prominent cafe culture is here in Buenos Aires and I wanted to sit here all day. Here's another cafe in Palermo Hollywood that I went to that's a wellness-focused cafe with lots of baked goods, healthy bowls, and fresh juices. There's also a lot of other interesting decor, candles, cute mugs, and books. I think this spot is heaven to me. I would love to open a curated shop of homey goods, and it's just missing some yoga or Pilates classes in the back, but it's giving major California wellness vibes, or even Mexico City or Medellin, which I loved. I ordered the green juice and loved how peaceful this cafe is. This coffee shop in Palermo is called Cafe Registrado, and apparently it was one of the first third-wave coffee places in Buenos Aires back in 2013. The third wave challenges coffee quantity being prioritized over quality. They place value on the unique character and flavor profiles of single origin beans. Dulce Charlotte is another cute cafe in Palermo. There's a big breakfast menu with healthy, beautiful, and colorful options. After eating so much steak, we ordered the yogurt fruit bowl, salad, and of course had to get more media lunas to balance out all our meals. Another day, another cafe. We're at Casa Dingo, which brings Australian cafe culture to Buenos Aires. It's this cute open-air space with multiple floors and a great spot to do some work or catch up with friends over drinks. Cheers! So many people out and about. It's 6 p.m. and we're out in Soho. Lots of shops, bars, restaurants. Vive Cafe is this hidden gem that specializes in Colombian single origin coffee. Okay, it's not that hidden because it is a top-rated Colombian coffee shop in Palermo Hollywood, rated #1 of 635 cafes. They offer high-quality single origin brews and vegetarian-friendly fare in a cozy, stylish space. It's a favorite among locals for both its coffee and relaxed atmosphere. The merch and t-shirts were so cute and I regret not getting one. And the ham and cheese media luna was so delicious. I'm still dreaming about that. And I love how every cafe here has its own specialty and everyone's really passionate about what they do. We chose this Airbnb in Palermo Hollywood because this neighborhood is known for its nice restaurants, cafes, pubs, and shops. We wanted to be walkable to things nearby, yet had no idea that this is the largest neighborhood in the whole city of Buenos Aires. So we walked a lot in this neighborhood. It borders Palermo Soho, which we also looked into as it's known for shopping, cafes, and nightlife. We wanted something a little more quiet and one that had more restaurants and cafes, so we chose Palermo Hollywood instead. We loved our week-long stay here at this Airbnb. There's 3 rooms for 4 of us, which was perfect. And it was like we each had our own floor and privacy. It is bright and airy, and we spent some time working in the Airbnb in the mornings as well and thought it was perfect. Airbnb. If you're looking to stay at a hotel instead, my friend stayed a night at the Park Hyatt in Recoleta, which is beautiful. Recoleta is known for its beautiful, elegant French architecture, upscale boutiques, and the Recoleta Cemetery, which I'll show you next. The Park Hyatt is a luxury 5-star hotel with preserved Italian marble, original chandeliers, and a beautiful garden area. I felt like I was transported back to Paris and it felt so luxurious. Recoleta Cemetery is a famous cemetery known for its beautiful ornate mausoleums and where lots of famous people like Eva Perón and past presidents were buried. This is probably the most beautiful cemetery I've ever seen, and it was so gorgeous. But also I always get a little bit anxious being in a cemetery, so was being careful and trying to be respectful. There are lots of tours here and different tours you can sign up for, and as you can see, it is a maze and can go on and on forever. I'm so excited to show you this because this is the #1 thing on my list that I definitely wanted to do and see in Buenos Aires, and it is this bookstore. It's not just any bookstore. This is the El Ateneo Grand Splendid bookstore, which is a theater turned bookstore that opened in 2000. If you've seen my other videos, you know I love visiting beautiful bookstores like this one in Porto. I am at the El Ateneo bookstore and it is so beautiful. It used to be an opera house or a theater. And as you can see, there's so many people here, but it is free entry. There are tons of books, not a lot of English, but lots to explore. I would definitely spend at least an hour here. Once called Teatro Gran Splendid from 1999, this theater turned bookstore opened in 2000 and is consistently rated one of the world's most beautiful bookstores. With frescoed ceilings and theater box reading nooks, the original stage now hosts a cozy cafe blending literary charm with historic grandeur. Okay, and this is why I love traveling. I'm standing inside what used to be a theater, and now it's a bookstore. And looking up the ceiling, it was so beautiful. The National Geographic called it the most beautiful bookstores in the world, and I can see why. There weren't a lot of English books though, but it was cool for me to see books I recognized in other languages. If you're a book or a bookstore lover like me, then you could spend hours here. But otherwise, you could probably allocate about 30 minutes or up to an hour here. Argentina's presidential office, the Casa Rosada, or the Pink House, is where the president works. It's not actually where they live, just where they work. The Plaza de Mayo in front has statues called May Pyramid and the Metropolitan Cathedral nearby. But let's talk about why it's pink. Apparently they mixed red and white paint to represent different political parties. They literally mixed politics with paint. This is where the presidents work. It's like the White House, the Blue House, but here it's a pink house. And this is where Eva Perón, also known as Evita, gave her famous speeches from that balcony up there. The whole thing is built on top of an old Spanish fort, which is pretty cool. We didn't do the tour, but I've read that tours are free, even though reservations are required, and that really the exterior is the main draw. And we recommend lining up early for a tour of the museum inside. After some much needed food and coffee, we're heading over to San Telmo Market.
We're heading to San Telmo Market, and it's definitely different from Palermo neighborhood. It's super cute and vibey. Yeah. San Telmo Market?
San Telmo Market was built in 1897. This historic market retains its iron column structure and glass roof. It's huge, airy, and it's like being inside a Victorian greenhouse. I love these kind of markets. There's everything here, from vintage records, fresh empanadas, lots of antiques. I spent a lot of time looking at old cameras and it was so much fun. Apparently on weekends it gets really crowded with tourists, and even on a weekday today it was quite crowded but was so enjoyable. Sometimes there are even tango performances here, and I'm hoping I'll catch one before I leave. Inside San Telmo Market, you'll also find lots of dulce de leche. This entire shop is dedicated to dulce de leche, and you gotta have dulce de leche when in Argentina. What I love about Buenos Aires is how different neighborhoods give different remnants of parts of Europe. The streets tell a different story. You'll see European-looking cobblestones mixed with modern pavement and street art. And that's because Buenos Aires was built by waves of Italian, Spanish, and French immigrants in the late 1800s, which is why it looks so much like Paris sometimes. I love that nobody's in a rush here, and you can feel the laid-back energy everywhere you walk. I love walking, and Puerto Madero waterfront is a great place to walk around and people watch. You'll even catch people practicing tango here on the Bride Promenade. One thing about me when I travel is that I love signing up for a free walking tour so I can get to know the city from a local. We did an afternoon tour, but I recommend an earlier one. We're here in January, and as you can see, it's their summer and it is so hot. We got to explore different neighborhoods and learn about the history of Argentina. There's so much history here, and I was glad to learn more about it from a local here. I'll link the walking tour below, and our guide first took us onto the Subsucti subway. I'm really glad we got to experience how convenient the public transportation is here and how it's only under $1 to ride the Subti.
Villa, they call it here. Villa. But you didn't know that in Congo, so besides having their church, so they can hold, right?
We were curious what Asian food was like in Buenos Aires and found this Vietnamese restaurant with 4.5-star ratings. We tried the pho at Saigon Noodle Bar and it was really good. The broth is rich and it tasted homey after all the steak we got in Argentina. And don't worry, I'll show you all the places we went to shortly. We ended up at this Italian restaurant because we did a walking tour and ended up in the neighborhood Recoleta. This restaurant called La Parolaccia, I'm butchering it, is giving serious Italian vibes even though we're in Argentina. The venue is beautiful and the food was amazing. I ordered the lasagna entree and devoured it. We had to treat ourselves and celebrate Nancy and Matt's engagement in Patagonia, so we went to Aramburu, one of the most exclusive restaurants in Buenos Aires and a top 50 best restaurant. This is a high-end, chef-driven tasting menu restaurant in Recoleta, featuring about 16 to 17 innovative courses presented in an open lab kitchen. We went all out and did the wine pairing option. Everything was a presentation and so interesting to taste. This is literally art that you can eat, and I love the experience. Everyone knows Don Julio, and if you're gonna pick one steak restaurant to go to in Buenos Aires, Don Julio is the most well-known. This place was ranked the #1 restaurant in Latin America in 2020, and I can see why. There's a weeks-long wait for reservations. What makes this place special is how serious they are about their meat. They only use grass-fed Aberdeen Angus and Hereford cattle that are raised for 3 years using rotational grazing that's way longer than most places, which is why the flavor is so intense. They also know how to keep their customers happy as they wait in line, offering us champagne and empanadas. This whole asado tradition actually dates back centuries to when Spanish colonists brought cattle to Argentina and the gauchos started cooking meat over open plate. A proper asado includes beef, pork, chicken, and chorizo, all cooked on the parrilla by someone called the asado. Argentine meat is traditionally roasted slowly and served once it's perfectly cooked. It was so good. This is one of our more expensive meals here in Argentina because we ordered so many different cuts of meats to try and share. This is definitely a tourist spot, but I totally get why people will wait weeks to eat here now. Fabric Sushi Bar is a very vibey, stylish Japanese Peruvian Nikkei fusion restaurant. I love how international Buenos Aires is and how many different cuisines we've had here. This is another super popular Italian spot called Pizzeria Guerrin, which was founded in 1932. This place is huge, chaotic, and overwhelming, but we enjoyed this experience and its thick, cheesy pizza. This isn't New York pizza where it's thin, and it's not quite like Chicago's deep dish. The pizza here is like eating airy bread with a lot of cheese, but not overpowering in flavor. You'll have to give Argentinian pizza a try. Hierro Casa de Fuegos, the name literally means Iron House of Fires, in Palermo is a stylish parrilla with an open fire kitchen, featuring in-house aged meats and Wagyu cuts. And yes, we're getting more steak tonight. While in Argentina, I wanted to eat as much meat as possible, and it was absolutely divine. For some reason, we ate a lot of Asian food in Buenos Aires. I guess that's what happens to Asians when you've been in South America for almost 3 weeks. This restaurant is called Namida, which is Japanese-Peruvian fusion, and this interior is so cool. Look at these tropical murals and wooden accents. They had a lunch special that we each got, and we got to try different fusion sushi with some Peruvian twist to it. Another unique Asian restaurant we went to, which was so delicious and a local favorite, is Gran Dabbang. The fusion execution of Latin American ingredients with Indian dishes was executed so well and is one of the most vibey, laid-back joints in Buenos Aires, and they serve some of the best food around. It's no surprise that this restaurant made it on Latin America's 50 Best Restaurants of 2024. Do note that they don't take reservations, so you do have to line up to get there early. The line does move fast, and trust me, it's worth the wait. During our time in Buenos Aires, we had to check out the nightlife and bar scene. Honestly, we were still recovering from Patagonia, so we didn't have any wild nights, but got to explore some really cool bars. First up, Cochichina, which is a modern Vietnamese restaurant turned bar in the heart of Palermo, which was so much fun and quite unique. Everyone was very dressed up, and there was a whole wall of little fish on your way to the bathroom that people were taking photos in front of. The backroom bar is a more relaxed bar with two master mixologists, Saku and Chris, who are skillful at making handcrafted drinks. We really enjoyed this spot, and there's a bookstore you can peruse while waiting for a table or for your drinks. We're checking out Presidente Bar in Recoleta, which is ranked as one of Latin America's top cocktail bars, and I can see why. The vibe is very glamorous and everyone is dressed to the nines. This place is intimate, one long backlit bar counter and just a few small tables. It's giving speakeasy vibes for how dark it is and such an elegant cocktail bar. They also serve sushi, which we were craving and got some, and we loved all the craft cocktails. This is the most unique speakeasy I've ever been to, and I loved it so much. It's styled as an old apothecary with bartenders in lab coats and syringe-themed cocktails. You choose a drink that helps cure a certain ailment, and the whole place is decorated with glass jars filled with mysterious herbs and powders, antique scales, old medical charts on the wall, and these beautiful vintage medicinal posters, which was so fun to marvel at. They even had candy at the end, so of course this is my favorite spot. I cannot recommend this place enough. Definitely go here. For dessert, you have to get ice cream in Argentina. We stopped by this Heladeria Dylan, and I got the pistachio flavor. You 1,000 quadrillion% need to go to this Heladeria Scano Pico. The ice cream is life-changing. I didn't take a lot of video because I was overwhelmed by how many flavors they had there, and everyone was here at 11 p.m. eating ice cream. Argentina is constantly changing due to its political and economic climate, so I found Facebook groups to be extremely helpful in planning and preparing for my trip to Buenos Aires. For example, in the groups, they've cautioned travelers to go to the airport early, and we are so glad what we did because look at this line. It's also a huge airport, but we managed to spend a bit of time in the lounge to grab some food. I hope this travel guide is helpful, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. From Buenos Aires, you can also take a ferry and do a day trip to Uruguay. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that notification button so you know when the video drops. Thanks for watching. Ciao!